Hi, y'all. So before I ask my question, I want to clarify a point that y'all mentioned earlier. You said you don't believe in white privilege, correct?
Yeah, it's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Okay. So according to the Bureau of Prison Statistics from last month, 38.3% of our current inmate population is black. But according to the 2020 census data, only 12.2% of our national population is black. So if you don't believe in white privilege, how do you explain this disparity?
So why are they in jail?
It has been this way for years, since the 90s.
No,
since
why do people go to jail?
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they
Yes.
commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true.
It actually is.
They do. So every independent analysis shows that blacks have committed a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right? The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So actually, according to the Uniform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million crimes.
But that's
hold on.
proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than black people in the United States.
It's a 60% white country and a 14% black country. So you just proved my point. You literally, so basically that's a disproportionate amount of crime. It is.
But listen, I want to say, look, you are coming up here and you're asking a question, and that's not easy to do, first and foremost, no matter what. And I really appreciate your question in front of all these people. It's hard. So thank you for asking your question. But let me point out what you just did, and you didn't know that you did it. You switched from proportion to raw numbers. That's right. And you did that to make a point that you thought you were making, but you weren't. But look, your issue was that black Americans only make up 13% of the population, and yet they make up, I think you said, like 38% of the prison population. And then you switched to raw numbers because, so black people only make up 13% of the population, but they commit 40% of all homicides and 60% of all violent crime. Unfortunately, I don't think that's anything inherent in black Americans. That's not what I'm saying. That's just the fact. And what Charlie is saying is, look, we've got to look at why that is. So you're claiming that that disparity is inherent proof of discrimination. So would you also say the fact that there are fewer Asians in jail means that than white people, that there is discrimination against white people? No? Disparity isn't proof of discrimination is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So let me just throw, and Allie's exactly right. What percentage of blacks grow up with two parents in the home?
I don't know.
Yeah, less than 20%. That's why there's so many blacks committing crimes and they're in jail. It's that simple. The death of the black family is why blacks are in jail higher than their population percentage. It's that simple.
May I see your criminology degree? Do you have one?
I'm sorry.
No,
wait.
We've gotta. Are you a biologist? Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Let me ask you a question. So do I need a criminology degree to be able to understand that 75% of blacks don't grow up with two parents?
To be well versed in it, I believe so.
Do you have one?
I don't, but I'm studying it.
Okay,
right
but
now.
you
she studied it.
Mm-hmm. But you did the same thing. You looked at a statistic, and he did the same thing. You don't have a criminology degree, neither does he.
Hold
on a second. You're doing an argument from authority, okay?
It's a fallacy.
So the laws of physics don't change whether or not you're a physicist, okay? The law of thermodynamics doesn't change whether or not you take a course on it. Answer the question. Why do blacks have a broken family versus a nuclear family, and does that translate to higher rates of crime? Do you admit that?
Why is it that blacks don't have parents, though? Why?
Good question. We subsidize single motherhood in this country through the federal government of the United States. Great question. Now we're getting somewhere. Back in the 1960s, we put forward a program where black women married the government and broke up with the men they were with. Welfare state, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and that has contributed to blacks committing more crimes.
I believe institutionalized racism is your answer, but I don't believe I'm getting anywhere
but
with y'all.
But no, just let me point something out. Did you know that it's not white Americans that have the lowest incarceration rate or the lowest rates of crime or the highest graduation rates or the highest median income? It's not white Americans. It's Asian Americans. They have the highest median income. They have the highest graduation rates. They have the most degrees. They have the lowest incarceration rates. And guess what? They also have the lowest single parenthood rates. Okay? So that is true across the board. It's not just black Americans. And unless you are willing to say that the reason why Asian Americans make more than white Americans or the reason why Asian Americans go to jail less than white Americans is because there is systemic institutional racism against white people in this country, then your argument against black people doesn't really work.
That's true.
So let me ask you one thing. You said institutional racism. I got a black friend right up here. He's great. He's great. So let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. What can I do that he can't do?
What do you mean?
If institutional racism was real, what can I do that he can't do?
Well, you're less likely to get arrested.
I'm sorry. No,
That's
if we
less-
both commit a crime, he's going to get arrested and I'm not?
He could.
Wait, so we just went through this.
saying-
Blacks commit a disproportionate amount of crime in this country because of broken families. So give me one law on the books.
not because
You
of
said it's
broken
institutional.
families.
Give me a law anywhere that discriminates against blacks. Give me one law anywhere in America.
You want current or past?
How about right now?
Well, the fact that crack cocaine is criminalized more than regular cocaine.
No,
has
if
a
I
disproportionate
deal
racism law against blacks.
if I deal crack cocaine, I'm getting arrested regardless of skin color. Give me a
But if you were
law.
dealing white cocaine, you're
Give
less
me a
likely
law
to get a harsher
anywhere
sentence.
that allows white people to commit crimes and get away with it and blacks can't. Does that law exist?
Not anymore. But that
Because
doesn't
there's
mean
no
it's not real.
institutional racism in America.
Because there's-
The idea of institutional racism is laws on the books.
Just because it's not down on paper doesn't mean it's not real.
Okay, give us an example. Not just
God.
a disparity. Not just a
God?
disparity.
God isn't. You don't see God.
He's on paper. Read the Bible.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm getting nowhere with y'all, and y'all are not answering my question, so I'm going to end this Q&A right here. Thank you for your time.
We actually did answer her questions, but I do appreciate, even though she's got an attitude, I do appreciate her courage. I do. That is difficult. That's difficult
Yeah,
to
I
come
mean,
up
it's
here and ask
difficult,
a
but
question,
see,
but you can also do it respectfully.
But what bothered me about her, I'm glad she was there. She wasn't being honest. At least be honest, okay, and be willing to be correct.
So what is it about conservatives and this whole racism thing? Like, you guys are always just saying that it's either not a thing or it's, just not in any of the institutions or the police department. But it seems that over the past 18 years, we've had several race riots, and the biggest one being in 2020. So it's like, how are we still denying segregation in a city where we can clearly see what fucking neighborhoods are white, which ones are black, which ones are Latino, and we know how we got there. So it's like, what is it with conservatives and admitting that there's a problem and not addressing it? Because it seems like you guys want to be obsessed with, the gender thing or the racism thing, and then you guys say, it's not here, it's not a big problem. But why are millions of people rioting every couple years?
So let me ask you a
Because
question.
we can say that it's Democrats and shit, right?
Well, let me ask you
okay,
a question.
go ahead.
So, what do you think is a bigger problem facing America, single fatherhood or racism?
Racism, by far. That's how
Can you
we
say
got
that?
to-
Say that in the microphone.
Racism, by far, because racism gets people killed, not single fatherhood.
Well, no, a single motherhood. Let me be more specific. So single moms, their fathers leaving the home, you think is a bigger problem than racism?
No, sir. You're gonna have. I'm gonna repeat that one again for you. I think racism is a bigger problem than fathers being outside of the home. However, I do see
Got it.
fathers not being in the home is a problem.
Let's make sure we're defining our terms. How would you define racism then?
Racism is a system of oppression used by a certain group using prejudice, institutional power,
Got it.
and it's situated by the media, government, and all these other
So
institutions.
give me an example of one thing you as a black man cannot do that I as a white man can do in America.
Got you. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, right? I went to a DeSantis rally. Got my ticket, all that good bullshit. Been to a million different, rallies of a kind, whether, I was a conservative at the time or whether I was a liberal, right? I know that as a black person, I am far more likely to be arrested for expressing my view, whether I am a conservative or a liberal. And I've done it on both sides. And Oh yes, I was. I was
Well,
arrested.
you were probably being a
And
jerk. That's why you were
actually,
arrested,
and
not
that's the
because
best
of the
part.
color
And
of
that's the
your
best
skin.
part, right? That's the best part. I wasn't even being a jerk, and the courts even
Okay,
found
so
our beloved courts.
Let me make sure I understand
who
this.
we love
So you
them.
think the bigger problem than fathers not being in the home is a abstract conspiracy theory that you have that hecklers and jerks at political events are arrested because of the color of their skin? That's the best definition of institutional racism.
No,
you have?
that's not my definition on racism. I
Well,
did
no,
tell
give
you
me
what
an
my
example
definition
of something a white man like me can do that a black man like you can't do. Because guess
Oh,
what?
for one-
if I showed
for
up
one-
at a DeSantis event and
sure.
started heckling, I'd be
Sure.
kicked out and arrested.
No, you would not. No, you. In fact,
Well,
I even have evidence.
You know how
of
I
that.
know that's true?
You wanna
Most
know-
of the
what, do you
hecklers
wanna know
are
how
Antifa
I know it's
white
true?
suburban kids
I have
from
one
Highland
of the-
Park, and they're arrested a lot more, actually, when you see the mugshots. Yeah.
Oh, so white kids are arrested a lot more. Could
Well-
that possibly be? Could that possibly
you
be?
talk
And
into
I'm
the
just-
mic?
And I'm just guessing here. Could it possibly be that white people are arrested more because you have a higher population and therefore by proximity you are more like, because it's math, it's basic math. I know we hate math. I know we hate it, but I passed
Well,
it.
okay.
Unlike y'all.
So let me ask you a question. How does racism contribute to black-on-black crime in Chicago? How is
let's
white
talk
people
about
to blame for that?
Oh, actually, matter of fact, that's actually a whole other issue. So let's talk about, so you want to talk about intracommunal violence as it pertains
Yeah,
to
so what does
racism.
the white man have to do with that?
So, oh, and that's a great thing. I love the red herring that you threw in there.
No, it's-
yes,
it's-
because,
it's a question.
hey, intracommunal violence is proximal, right? So, when we have segregation and we got races sitting in one area, and you got another race in another area. Now, we never ask white people, why is white on white crime so high with white people, and never, but instead we focus on black people.
Yeah, so out of the 530 murders in Chicago of the last year, how many were black-on-black crime?
Hey, I wasn't looking. But you know what I
Yeah,
do know?
well
But
over
you know, hey,
420 of them were black-on-black
Sure,
gang-related
sure,
crimes.
sure.
How is that
Sure.
racism to blame for that?
let's talk. So now, are we going to talk about over-policing?
I'm sorry, sir. You're kind of
Would you like to-
demonstrating you can't answer the question.
Would you like to talk about? I mean, we can talk about it. We can.
Okay.
Are you ready to address it, though?
Well-
are you ready to address it?
Yeah.
Because we can talk about black-on-black crime, but we need to talk about it as it pertains. We need to. Okay, let's talk about it, sis. I'm ready to talk about it.
All right, hold on. So
I'm ready
let
to
me
talk
just
about it.
let me just
I'm ready
narrow
to
this
talk
down.
about
So let me just say this,
All right,
okay?
all right.
So
What's
if
up?
you were to rank the 100 biggest problems in America,
Yeah.
the fact that I know we're not a racist country is the best example you have. Is
Okay,
some
so you
abstract
know we're not a
story of you
racist
getting
country
kicked
based
out of a
on what?
DeSantis rally. If we were a racist country, you'd say, Charlie, I can't go in a convenience store. Charlie, I can't go into school. No, we actually live in such a amazingly
we're not-
decent
if we're not
country
racist-
that whoa.
Don't.
Let's not do that, okay?
All I did.
All right.
was speak. All I did was speak.
You're trying to pull it
Oh,
out of my
no.
Mostly peaceful, everybody. Mostly
I
peaceful,
wasn't.
okay?
I didn't lay hands on you. I
All right.
got witnesses. I did not touch you. No.
All right.
I touched the mic.
We're going to wrap this one
Don't
up,
play.
but let me just
Anyway.
say this.
We got racism we got racism all over the U.S. We just had a race riot 3 years
Okay,
ago.
so let's
in
talk about-
2020.
wait, hold on.
And,
So-
oh my God! And then we had all 50 states plus 18 countries. But don't worry,
Wait,
officer.
so by
I'm not
race
laying no
riots,
hands
you
on
mean
them.
you mean
I used to
mass
wear the
looting
uniform
of
too.
big
I know
screen
how it works.
TVs? Let me tell you, it is not an argument in your favor that we're a racist country because blacks decide to start burning down Wendy's and stealing stuff. That's called
Actually,
criminality.
it is
and
because
the
you're not even
majority of black
looking
Americans
as to why
found
it
the
happened.
looting
You're not
to
even
be
looking as to why it happened.
objectionable.
And that's cool. And that's cool. You know, we can definitely play, obtuse on the whole issue. Yeah, black people were burning it down. Why? Racism. Racism was a big issue, and we can pretend that it's not a big issue. But hey, if you don't want to, then that's just called being obtuse. And that's why I asked you. And that's why I asked you, why did you have such a big problem with talking about racism? You want to claim that it's not there, and you can say
all right.
all you want.
So
but that still doesn't prove. That still
let me
does
conclude.
not.
If you
That
want to
still does
talk
not
about
account for why
racism
we
that
have
could be
race
proven,
riots. So
let me
I
give you
guess
some
so.
examples of racism that
guess.
could be proven. How about affirmative action at this college that discriminates against Asian students and white students? How about affirmative action hiring practices in the federal government? We are such a decent, non-racist country. The best example that he has is to show that he was mistreated. And if he acted like this at the DeSantis event, I can see why he was kicked out of the DeSantis event.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'll start off with my credentials since apparently they matter.
Oh, they definitely don't matter
I'm
to
an
us.
8-year military veteran. I'm a college student. I'm a black woman, and I believe that white privilege exist. So we're going to start with that.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you
And
for
the
your
reason
service.
why white privilege exists is because you guys refuse to acknowledge the history that put people in this position. You want to tell me that white privilege doesn't exist when white people had a fucking upper hand for 250 years to develop generational wealth, and that black people didn't get the right to fucking vote until the 60s, and you're going to tell me that white privilege doesn't exist?
So,
That sounds like it
first of all-
exists
Funny about
because you
that is
guys
black-
got the
Yeah,
upper
I
You know,
hand.
was gonna
what's
say.
funny about that is blacks were doing better during
Why
that
do
time.
we always
under,
call people
under,
blacks?
No, because you
'Cause you
I'm
did.
black.
Can't we just be black people? Can't we just be like African Americans or something? Why are we
The
just
black
blacks?
community, how would you like it said? What makes you feel better on the inside?
Really, anything else other than what you're saying?
Tell me. I'll say how you want
Anything
it.
else
I'll package
other
it
than-
how you need it. Tell me what makes you feel
Literally anything else other than what you're saying.
better. Okay,
But please
anything
finish
else.
your point.
Why is it that anything else, right? During
All right.
in the Jim Crow era, blacks were doing better. Economically, we're outpacing whites under the Jim Crow era than we were doing.
Let's
than we are
see.
doing.
It
I'm not
probably
done,
has
than
to
we are
do
doing
with the
today
fact that
after
we had our own
$22 trillion
communities
of government
before the
handouts.
fucking
The black
KKK
community-
came and burned them
The
down.
KKK were Democrats, but give me a second. So after $22 trillion of government handouts and a black president
After how many
for
years
8
of
years, the
slavery
black
and
community is
44
worse off
white
today than we
presidents,
were in the Jim
44
Crow era. How
white
is
male
that possible?
presidents,
Oh, I know,
97%
because they sold you
white
your
male
oppression and you
Congress.
bought it. So you're actually the reason why people like us can't do well, because they've sold you our oppression and you bought it. Blacks were doing better
Barrett,
under the Jim
If
Crow
you
era.
acknowledge the oppression of other people, we can heal from it.
No, we
but if
can't.
you want
No,
to
we
ignore
can't.
it, we
We
won't
can't.
have anything happen.
That's not how this works. Dialogue and acknowledging things doesn't make us suddenly rich.
So there's a question I do want to ask, which I can't seem to get an answer. What can she not do in America that a white person can do? What opportunity? You served in the military. You've made good choices. You're getting rewarded for them. You're going to live in the American middle class. What privilege do I have that you don't have that is based on skin color, not on wealth or socioeconomic status? Please.
The fact that you are sitting here with like little to no education trying to talk to people about white privilege is white privilege. And
Tell me
honestly,
one thing I said that's wrong, and don't use an argument from authority.
That's like so.
An
that's
argument
Make a
from
good
authority.
argument.
I have a degree.
Don't
I'm
cite
arguing
your
from
credentials.
authority
I
because
have a
I'm telling
degree.
you my life experience.
That's not your life experience.
Name
That's a
one-
degree.
Really? I'm
one
sorry. Did you live my
thing-
life?
That means
Did
nothing.
you live my life?
That means that's a
Name one
degree.
thing
You're not smarter
that
than him
you
because you have a
can't do
degree. Just so you know
that
that.
I
That's a fallacy.
can't do.
That's a fallacy.
Name one thing that you can't do that I can do.
I don't know. I can't make a whole dollar.
What? You can't? Why?
Oh my God.
You're trying to tell me in the military women aren't paid the same as men for equal work?
In the military, up until 2 years ago, women weren't even allowed to do most of the jobs that men
Answer the
can
question. You just said you couldn't make a dollar. You said you could not make a dollar. You served in the military, which
do. Not
is
to mention that people in the military actually get paid a bullshit wage, but we're not going to
All
talk
right,
about
guys, so
that.
now we're moving
Yeah,
over
let's
to
talk
now
about.
we're moving
That
on
has
to
no-
Let's
nothing
talk
to do
about
with
for a
skin
second
color.
that you want to say that
What-
everyone in the military
what can I not
paid a
do?
shitty
It's a
wage,
feminist
so
lie,
that makes it
radical
right.
feminist lie, and they also sell. There's so many different ways they sell you your oppression, and she has purchased all of them today. So right now we are on sexism, right? So she's saying that I can't make a full dollar. Yes, you can. If women stop going in,
I bet he got
I'm not
paid
done
more to be
speaking,
here than
I'm not
you
done
did.
Speaking, okay. If women stop going into career fields like fashion and Vogue and journalism,
psychology.
and we start going into fields like
Engineering.
engineering
Business.
and hard academics,
Finance.
we will make the exact same money that
If
men
not more.
make. The wage gap is a myth and
a
a
myth.
lie. It's a myth
Amen.
and a lie, okay?
Can I say?
It's actually a myth and a lie. I understand that you need to be oppressed, but you have just heard from two black people that haven't purchased their oppression from the Democrat Party. Respect that.
And what frustrates me is you served our country, which deserves to be applauded, and you have lived a life of a victor, and you have the gumption to tell me you're a victim without evidence. You were not able to cite one thing that you cannot do that I can do. If you make good choices, you will get those choices rewarded. And you brought zero evidence except an argument from an authority and an insult to my lack of a college degree, of which I am so proud of because I'm not indoctrinated because I didn't go to college.
Wow. You know, this is one thing about Charlie that I respect so much. You know, no matter how heated the debate is, he's going to, you know, come back at you with facts. And that is it. He's telling you, what can you do as a black person that he cannot do? At least he has been asking this question for I don't know how many interviews now, but people keep finding it difficult to answer him. And I'm putting this question out there. what can you do as a black man or as a white man that a black guy cannot do? At least feel free to let me know in the comment section, because I don't know why people still hold on to individual racism and judge people or make it feel like Americans still practice systematic racism. It's not there anymore. Unlike before that, you can't go to the same classroom with a white guy, or you both cannot go to the same supermarket, or you cannot share the same washroom. That was then. But right now, whatever a white man can do, a black guy can do it, or a black woman can do it. And I don't know why she's angry that you are calling her black. You are black. I am black. There is power in being black. So stop making it look like you have to be called black American, black. Jesus, this is like, I see a lady that has been brainwashed. You understand? You've been given everything in a platter of gold. You had opportunity to serve in the U.S., military for 8 good years. And now you are still acting as if you were oppressed. To me, I see it as something that does not make sense. Like, it does not make sense. It's like you want American to keep on spoon feeding you. You have to know how to go there and fend for yourself. At least you've been there. You've got an opportunity to serve. You know how the system works. So stop having this oppressor mentality. And back to the first two people, it pains me a lot that people try to debate. You walk up to the mic to debate, and when things does not go your way, you just walk out. That is not how to debate. You stand there, you back your point with facts. You understand? Whenever you are saying back it up with facts, that is how you win, Charlie. You don't just come out there and bring your point and Charlie counter your point and you're storming off. No, you bring facts. He's ready to debate. That's it. He said, whatever you have, whatever he has said before that you don't agree with, just come up on stage, pick the mic and debate him. This is the kind of man that will lose. Someone that, instead of him to insult you, he's going to tell you facts or prove you wrong if you are being brainwashed. And that is, I see so many people being brainwashed. A whole lot of people don't know Charlie, but because they hear that Charlie is a racist, they hold on to that without even taking your time to research on this guy. Okay, what is he saying? Why do people call him this name? Let me check out his video. Let me see reason. Sometimes I see people react to shots, a few clips of Charlie Kirk saying something. You don't get the full story. You jump into conclusion. So tell me one part in this video that Charlie was racist. I don't see any part. He's just trying to let the public know that I'm a white guy. What is the benefit of being a white guy that you as a black guy or a black woman does not have? Tell me the special benefit. Okay, if you claim it's the American passport, as a black American, you hold the same passport. So whatever Charlie Kirk can go with his passport, you can also go with the passport. So whatever door that passport can open for Charlie Kirk, it can also open for you. So why the victim mentality? We're being oppressed for 200 years, we're being oppressed for this. Learn how to let go of the past, okay? They brought in DEY just because they wanted equality. They wanted everyone to be together, you understand? And now Charlie Kirk is saying this DEI is not helping. It is better for whatever I can do, you can also do it, There is no need to favor one set of people and not favor another set of people, because DEI is like racism, whereby you don't qualify for a job or you get a role. It is better that when you merit an opportunity, you get that opportunity. You understand? Even Charlie said, my friend is in front there. He pointed at the black guy. He said, what can this black guy do that I cannot do? America is a free and blessed country filled with opportunity. Well, I'm not an American, but with what I've seen, I just feel like people tend to hold on to what have happened before. Yeah, I know slave trade happened before, racism happened before. It has happened and it is gone. It's high time we learn to move on, look beyond that and see the future. If we keep on holding on to the past, I don't think we can move on from this hate, this anger, this hatred. I remember when slave trade ended, I think they gave opportunity for everyone to go back to their country. If you want to go back to your country, there were free ships that are ready to take people back to their country. You decide to stay, or maybe not you, your forefathers decide to stay. And if you're tired and feel like American is not working, then get out from that country and give other people opportunity to come there, because there are several millions of people waiting on the line to take your place. If you feel American is being racist towards you or the system is not working, get out of the country so another person can take your place. You can't benefit from the passport, benefit from the good economy, benefit from the safety and everything, and still complain that you are being oppressed. It does not make sense. I'm from Nigeria, and so many people in Nigeria are praying for the opportunity that you have just to change their life. They are not waiting for the government to help them. They are willing to work. They are willing to provide for themselves. They are willing to do whatever it takes to survive. But you have everything in a platter of gold, and you still complain a whole lot. Like, it's painful. Like, it's just painful. You know, I think a few days ago I made a video and someone was like, stop talking about America and go and fix your country. Americans have helped me way more than my country have helped me, if I'm being 100% sincere. So if I speak, it's because, yes, I know that I have benefited from America. So you guys should just stop this hate, okay? Stop this hate. It's just too much. It's too much. Let's learn how to move on. You know, I'm asking this question before I end this video. Where is the racism, or where is the, like, I see people commenting, even after, you know, the untimely death of Charlie Kirk. People are all commenting, Charlie Kirk is a racist. Charlie Kirk is a racist. So how is he a racist? Prove it to me. Like, at least let me know. I actually played 3 videos now to show you that this guy is not a racist. So from these 3 videos, show me where he went wrong, or how he claimed, or what he said that makes him a racist. Because to me, I can't see it. So how is he a racist? It's just unfortunate that people don't like hearing the truth. People want to stay and listen to people that will massage their ego, you know, keep on feeding them with lies. This is a guy that has been telling you the truth right from the beginning. He called a spade a spade. He don't sugarcoat anything. He lets you know the truth, and he makes it possible that if you disagree with him, pick up the mic and bring out your point, you know, say your point. At least he's willing to learn. I think there's a video he made before his untimely death where he said he was formally against the death penalty, and now he said no, he's in support of it, because even if he's a pro-life person, but when you commit an offense, or when you decide to take someone else's life, you made that decision, so you're supposed to, you know, face the repercussion. And I think I agree with him. You see, he was formally against it, and now he's in support of it. Why do you think that? He's ready to learn. He's ready to take correction. That is why he said, walk up to the mic and debate me if you are angry, or if you don't agree with me. I just feel we lost a great man. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remain blessed.